practice of Pentecost. In the church's liturgical calendar, last Sunday was Pentecost, and we lifted the first few verses from Acts chapter 2 in our message entitled, "The Birth of a New Community." And in this narrative, we saw the promise of Pentecost being fulfilled 50 days after Passover, 10 days after the ascension of Jesus Christ. Those disciples went up into an upper room, if you will, as a disjoined band of believers, but came down those stairs, descended those stairs as a unified body, as the new church, a new community. For the promise of Pentecost was fulfilled on that day when God sent the Holy Spirit to empower, enlighten, and equip the church for the work of being witnesses for him in the world. Not only was there the promise of Pentecost, there was the presence of Pentecost. For the text said that the Spirit, likened unto cloven tongues, sat upon each of them. There were others who were present at Jerusalem, but they were not in the presence of the person of the Holy Spirit, again, as he empowered and equipped the church to be witnesses in the world. And then we saw the power of Pentecost in the lives of these Christians as they boldly proclaim the good news of Jesus Christ. Descending those stairs as a new community, we've come to this portion of Acts 2 where we witness the practice of Pentecost. Prior to this event, prior to Pentecost, the same group of disciples were a different bunch, if you will, colloquially. They were different in the sense that they had strove for seats in high places. They were seeking positions of greatness. They questioned the mission of Jesus to die on Calvary. They denied that they knew him. They hid in fear of reprisal from the enemies of Jesus. And they had also returned to their prior lives and occupations when they went back fishing. They returned to their prior lives and occupations because Jesus did not appear to have fulfilled their hopes and expectations of the Messiah. But at Pentecost, the strife ended. At Pentecost, doubts were settled. At Pentecost, a new community was born, one with new purpose and new identity. At Pentecost, we see that they prayed more, and they were together. For the first verse of that chapter, this chapter says, When that day was fully come, they were all with one accord in one place. And where brethren dwell together in unity, the Lord always commands his blessings. When this new community born out of Pentecost received the promised presence and power, these things had a profound impact upon how they practiced Pentecost in community. They were now the embodiment of the gospel to the world. Divinely empowered, this new community was not to remain in the upper room, the sanctuary, and just worship and pray. But rather they were to take the good news, the gospel, the message of God's love for the world through Jesus Christ. They were to take that message to the sinner, to the lost. And those sinners and those who were lost were not gathered in the upper room where they were praying and worshiping, but they were the thousands of souls outside of the walls that needed salvation. So they took the ministry to the street. And read it good. Peter preached one heck of a sermon. And in his message, he called for something that was no small thing in their time and in their culture. What are you talking about? He was calling these Jews to make a public profession of faith in Jesus. He was calling them to make a public profession of faith in Jesus, whom a little over a month ago they had crucified.